could have taken on f5. Throw in a check. Yeah, and I went on time. So thank you so much for the challenge, Cobra. If anyone else wants to challenge me, you can also do so. If I'm not playing the game, I'll just take the challenge. So let's just move on. Okay, we're playing D.H. Fernández, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Daniel Fernández from England. I played against him once in an Olympiad in 2012, I think, when he was still an IM, but he's now a Grandmaster, so that's pretty nice for him, I guess. I can go knight b5, he goes knight f5. Let's see. But I'm not actually threatening anything with knight b5. So I'll just go knight e4, I guess. And somehow try to get this knight back to d3. He can play, yeah, he can play castles. He could have gone like bishop f5 or something like that, which he didn't do. So this is an isolated pawn position. First of all, let's try to blockade it first, which is the standard reaction. Bishop can develop because the b7 pawn would be attacked. He wants to take the bishop out of, well, into play for b7. Drop back the bishop to d2. Rook e8. I just continue to somehow bring my pieces into play, and someday I'll just attack this d4 pawn. Okay, he wants a4. I stopped that with a2, a4 myself. And now these pawns are kind of weak, so I think it's already a pretty pleasant position for white. I can maybe go bishop h3 and somehow claim that the rook on c7 is not so well placed, but I don't think that really makes a difference. Okay, he wants to go h4, I guess, but I don't really see what h4 does. So I'll just play rook c2. Maybe try to switch pieces. Queen b1, rook c1 somehow, when the time is right. Maybe bishop g5 in the following moves. I'll just go bishop g5 right now. He has to go, yeah, something uncomfortable like f6, which is kind of ugly because these pawns are going to be vulnerable. Okay, knight e5. Can I take? Is he threatening something? I think he's kind of threatening to take on d3. Let's see. I think I'll just go bishop c1. And I allowed this fork, which is kind of stupid of me. Yeah. Such a good position, and I just throw it away for no reason. Yeah, This is losing. Let's play him again. I had such a good position, and I just blundered this exchange and later a piece on b4. Okay, he wants to play original. Let's try to break in the center as soon as possible. Let's just go e5. He can't take on d6 because of this pin along the g7, h8, a1 diagonal. But he does start off with a possible kingside attack, which I don't really think it works because he doesn't have the development yet to try to attack. Now this pawn's going to become a problem for him, I think. And I'll just try to somehow define his queenside pawn structure in this way, which I think is going to be pretty good for me. I can go c5 right now, maybe, and b6 on the following move. If he takes on c6, then I just take back with the knight, and this is going to be an isolated pawn. Well, this pawn is weak. Maybe bishop e6. Okay, he does take. Plays c5, giving the c4 square for his pieces. I can go maybe rook d5, but he defends a pawn with rook c1 or knight e4. He's maybe threatening to come into c4 with the knight. So I'll just play bishop e6. If he goes bishop c4, I think I have rook takes d2. If he goes knight c4 directly, I maybe have some e4 ideas, which are kind of annoying. Okay, let's see. e4 takes. Okay, let's see. Black goes a4, knight b6, rook a5. Let's just go a4. If he goes knight d6, then I think I have b6. I can maybe play e4 right now. Which is what I think I'm gonna do. Knight d6 perhaps. And maybe f5 in the following move. Which is gonna be kind of weird, because it's going to take on b7, but I think this knight's going to get stuck on b7. Okay, he goes rook b1. If he takes on b7 with the knight, I have the pin on b8. If he doesn't take, then I think I can just go something like bishop d5 maybe. Okay, he goes g4. Let's just take, and I can maybe play knight b3, threatening the c5 pawn. If he takes on e4 with the knight, I think I can just take on c5 with the knight because it's going to be a pin. I'm maybe threatening some checkmates. Maybe. Or just defend the pawn. Nah, I think I'm lost. I'm totally lost. Okay, that's gonna be 2-0. Let's play again. Let's start off with an English opening. Okay, he plays this weird b6 move on the first move. So let's just try to play the most solid I can against that setup. He has nice grip on the e4 square. So let's just try to keep everything simple. He goes a5. Something feels wrong about his setup. Let's play knight b1. Maybe bishop e7, and I just go bishop g5. e4 is maybe a move. Let's try to bust the position open. E4 on the following move. Or maybe not immediately. I can just play something like rook d1, perhaps. Or depending on what he moves, d5, maybe. He might play d6 right now. Maybe, I don't know. It's quite a complicated position. g6 maybe? Or knight c6? It's a very complicated position. g5. Wow. That's something special. Okay, let's see, g5. Okay, I go e4, g4, knight e5, bishop g5. Yeah, I don't really buy g5. I do not buy g5 at all. d6 maybe? Okay, he threatens my pawn on e5. I'll threaten his pawn on g4, which I think is a more important pawn than the one on e5 because this pawn is one of the kingside pawns and the king did castle kingside. So now it feels kind of weird. Now I'll just protect my pawn. I'm gonna go h3 on the following move. Okay, he's threatening f2. I can just take on g4 maybe. Yeah, I don't think this is a good position for him. I think the king is way too open to give up the two rooks like that. And now I have this nice trick. If he takes on b4, I take the d4 knight, and this is gonna be the game. I just defend the rook. Everything is defended. So it seems like I'm gonna win one, which is nice. Let's go again. Now it's 2-1. Let's play this offbeat queen d6 move. He keeps playing these weird openings, so let's just play in kind. I can go bishop g4 maybe. Yeah, I think the position is going to close up. So in the long run, I think the knights are going to be better than the bishops. Especially because I want to go c6. And he does have this light square blockade on the king side, on the queen side, so maybe it's a good idea to try to close the position down. Having said that, I really want to exchange this bishop. I can maybe go e4 right now, or I can take on f3. But if I take on f3, then he has these annoying c4 ideas. So I think I can't just take on f3. Okay, he's kind of threatening c4. I'm gonna play a6. If he takes on a6, I'm gonna take with the queen. I think all endings are better for me. I'll attack the g2 pawn. Now this bishop is pinned. I'm going to guard the c4 square. Knight c3. Okay. I can maybe defend the c4 pawn. Or I can defend the e4 pawn. I think the e4 pawn is more of a headache than the c4 pawn. So let's just defend the one on c5. And let's just take this rook out of the way. I can go maybe knight c8. And he maybe has knight a5 in this position. Attacking the b7 pawn, which he didn't do. But I'm just gonna go queen d6 or maybe king d7 and just play the endgame. Let's see, do I like this endgame? I think I do, so I'm just gonna take on a4. Queen c4, queen e6. If he goes d5, then all the position closes down. And I don't think it's anything special for anyone. So maybe he's gonna go queen c5. Maybe. Okay, but he just takes on He just takes on e6. Now I think this is a pretty good endgame for me, because now my king is active and he has all kinds of issues with his pawn structure. I'm just going to open the files. And I blundered this rook a5. He can maybe go rook g5, but I think I win this important tempi. And now it's most likely a draw. Yeah, this is a draw. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it is not a draw. No, this is not a draw. I'm winning. Because his king is cut off. This is a typical Lucena position or bridge position. Yeah, this is winning. And I'm ahead in time. I'll just start snacking the pawns. Okay, so that's going to be 2-2. Let's play c4. Okay, he continues with his b6 idea. So let's just please him. Taking on f3 and doubling up the f pawns is quite an interesting structure. So I don't know why he doesn't want to go for that. Like, let's see, around here. Maybe taking on f3 is well known to be very interesting. So maybe he'll go for that in the next couple of games. Okay, he goes knight e4. I can go queen c1. I can maybe take on d8. Takes on d8. Takes on c3. Bishop c7. Knight e2 check. King h1. Takes on f3, takes on f3, knight takes d4, and I lose a couple of pawns. So I'm just going to go queen c1. And maybe take on g5 with the knight. Yeah, if he takes on g5, I'm taking back with the knight. Take on g2. Shachopa says GG. Oh, Shachopa, I'm really not looking at the chat right now. But which game do you think was good? Okay, he goes e5. Now I get this monster square on e6. So let's just be smart about this. How do I want to play this? I'll just jump into e6 right away. He'll probably go something like rook f6 or rook f7. I can maybe play f4 right now. Or I can just switch up the play to the queen side. Yeah, let's just switch it up with b4. I want to play e4, so this knight is pretty well guarded before I do anything crazy on the queen side. Let's play queen c3. He probably wants to go knight d8 right now, so he can So you can change out these knights, which I don't see any way of stopping, so I'll just go knight takes d8 and e4. And I think this is a pretty good structure for me. He maybe takes on a1. I'm gonna take on f7 because if I take on a1 with the queen or with the rook, he gets some play along the f file. So I think it's correct to take on f7, and then I'm gonna take on a1. If he takes with the king or plays this, and I'm just gonna offer a draw, which I think it's gonna take. There's absolutely no reason not to take a draw in this position. It's completely equal. Okay, he wants to play on. Okay, what does he want to do? Let's play king g2. If he goes queen d4, I go queen c2. Okay, let's play this. The problem is that his king is very, very exposed. So I think I have perpetual check in almost every single line. So I'm not really worried about this endgame. If he plays queen g5, I take on g5 and I think I'm winning. Yeah, if he goes queen g5, I trade, I go king g4, take on g5. I get these nice pawns, which are gonna be a pass pawn in the long run. Yeah, he has to go for the draw. There was really no other result there. If he went queen g5, which is technically the way to keep the game going, stopping all the checks from the queen, the perpetual checks, then I just win with queen takes and king g4. So I think he had to take the repetition. Let's just play like this. Okay, he goes c4. So what kind of structure do I want to play? He's more or less threatening to go c5. Let's see, bishop c7. I'll go e5. If he goes c5, then I just drop back to c7. But I don't really like this position for white. I really do not like this position for white. Maybe I can go knight g4 right now. Yeah, I think I'll just go knight g4. Threatening all sort of things. Okay, he's threatening my g4 knight. Queen h4, he goes g3. I think I have to take first on a3, not to deal with the takes on. Let's see if on the d6 square. I maybe have 93 right now. Do I? 93, f takes, queen h4. No, he has g3. If I go f5, it just castles, so I think I just have to go queen h4. He's most likely going to play something like g3. As a matter of fact, I think he has to go g3. Anything else just loses on the spot. Threatening knight takes e3. He has to go, let's say, queen e2 maybe. I can maybe go knight takes h2, but I think it's just a little bit risky because he can go long castles, and I think I would be quite worse. Let's just develop pieces. I'm very short on time. Maybe a6 on the following move. Try to bust the position open. He is still not threatening to take on g4. If he takes on a5 with the queen, I take on e3. Then all hell breaks loose. I'll just double up. Okay, now he can take on a5. But I think it's still quite complicated. I'll go with 5. Now he has this play with the a pawn. Yeah, I just spent too much time on this move. I just spent way too much time analyzing something that frankly didn't work. Yeah, this is just losing. Okay, let's just play one more. One more, and we're gonna call it a night. Okay, he goes b5. I'll just try to even the score at 3.5. Okay, he goes c5. I think I'll just take. Play queen e2. Now I'm threatening the pawn. I'll play a4, threaten the pawn again. And now maybe e5 would be good. Or I can just bring the knight into the game. Okay, d6. Let's play knight b3. So you want to take back with the knight. I don't see how that's an issue, so let's just take on c5, grab the bishop pair. I can maybe go bishop g5. He can win the e4 pawn if he wants with g5 and knight takes e4, but I think his king is going to be too exposed to make it worth a pawn. Let's say g5 right now, bishop g3 and knight takes e4, whichever knight. But I think it's just too dangerous for him. think. Well, I could be mistaken. He's a grandmaster. I'm not. I'll play knight d4. Take on e4. And I'll play some like rook d1 on the following move. Threatening to take on d6, by the way. Maybe e5. Now I'm just having a little chat with my opponent right now. Apparently this is going to be the last game. I thought it was fun. So why not? And maybe he needs to castle right now. I would guess he's gonna castle. And I think I need to bring my pieces into the game. So I'm just gonna go knight d4, rook c3, queen e5, that sort of thing. And maybe taking on e6. Yeah, I'm gonna take on e6. I don't know if it works, but I'm gonna try it. Now I'm gonna look for the perpetual checks. Which I don't think I have. Yeah, and it's mate. Okay, so that was the game. And I hope you enjoyed it.